Good morning. It's Fred and Sheila McCoy
Hi, hope you're having a great morning.
at the Hatfield McCoy Museum in Liberty, Kentucky. Go to fredmccoy.com, go to the top of the page, click on museum or whatever page that you want. We're going to go over a review list, more or less. Just some reviews. She's only had this channel for a couple of months now. And during those couple of months, we've gotten questions, emails, texts, and so forth, phone calls. And we've asked the West Virginia Hatfields we've made a wish list to try to clear up some things that have been told throughout the years. And it's real simple. Since starting the channel, we've asked West Virginia for a few things, and we've gotten no response. And I just want to go over those few items that we've asked for and see if they're unreasonable, if there's a reason they haven't been produced, or maybe put them back out there where maybe somebody else will hear them and maybe they can help research and find these items for us so we can correct ourselves. Because Sheila and I are saying they don't exist, or it never happened, or so forth. The first one here, let's just go, one of the things we requested was any kind of a military record that says that Devil Anse Hatfield was a captain during the Civil War. Any military records, muster roll, a promotion, anything at all that would say that. Now, it can't be photoshopped. If you can find it, we have to be able to tell our researcher, because we've got a researcher now that can find anything, and he's not found it neither. And he's one of the best we've ever seen. So, but we'd like to, that's one of the things we've asked for, is Devil Anse's record showing where he held the rank of captain during the Civil War. We've never heard a thing back from any of the West Virginia Hatfields, or anybody for that matter on that subject as far as the captain rank. Number 2, Cap Hatfield's law degree, or any kind of proof that Cap Hatfield was ever a lawyer. Through the years, the West Virginia Hatfields says that Cap Hatfield couldn't read or write, but his wife taught him to read and write, and that he went on to pass the bar and become a lawyer. Now, this is all during moonshining, timbering, killing McCoys, burning cabins, on the run out west, but he had time to become a lawyer. And that should be easy to produce. If that's correct and that's true, that should be an easy record to produce for Sheila and I, and for the channel, so we can show all these people out here that's inquiry minds want to know. And I don't think it's an unreasonable request. If this comment was made by Randall McCoy or something, it would be treated in a different manner. So let's do the same thing. We'd like to have something that proves that Cap Hatfield was, in fact, a lawyer. DNA from the great-grandsons, from any great-grandson, specifically Rio Hatfield and William Keith Hatfield. May seem like I'm picking on them. I'm not. It's just that Rio and William Keith loves the newspapers, the televisions, the Pike County tourism, and that's great. That's fine. But this is their chance to shine. They need to take a DNA and prove that Devil Anse was a Hatfield. And he very well could have been. We still don't know, but that would just kill all curiosity seekers or rumors out there that he wasn't. I don't care if they prove that he was. That would be great. Then we don't have to change the Hatfield-McCoy feud. It's still the Hatfield-McCoy feud. It will always be the Devil Anse feud. Devil Anse is never going to change. But that last name, there's been some question on that last name, his surname. And I'm going to throw this out there because I like to be fair. we're asking for Rio and Wilm Keith. That's two of the closest ones to Devil Ants that we know of. So I'd also like to ask for Ron McCoy. On the McCoy side, I've had a DNA. I know there's been some other people that says they've had DNAs. So anybody that's in this Hatfield-McCoy realm that claims to be related to these people, let's do a DNA, and that way there's no doubt. Ron says he didn't know he was even related to Randall McCoy or to the famous McCoys until he was 35 years old. Let's make sure that he is what he says he is. And the only way to do that is through a DNA. So, Ron, there's a challenge to you. And Bo McCoy, for that matter, from Waycross, Georgia. One of the ones that was publicity seekers for the peace treaty. We've also asked, and we've never received, a receipt for Devil Ance's monument with the date on it, hopefully with the date that it was ordered, that it was received. We've got Devil Ance's death certificate, we've got Devil Ance's funeral home receipt where Tennis paid for his father's funeral in full. Nobody has ever produced a receipt with a date on it, or even a receipt period, for Devil Ance's monument. They said it was put there 5 years later. That's what it says in the papers downstairs. And it's there at Devil Ance's funeral. Which brings me to the next question. If we can't get the receipt, and nobody's got a receipt or produced a receipt, how about even one photo? One photo of Devil Ance's funeral showing his grave without the monument. That's not hard. We've got a picture taken 14 months later of his son, Johnsy Hatfield, buried beside of him. Devil Ance's monument's there. Johnsy's grave is bare. He's got his grave, and there's no monument. There is today, but there wasn't when he died. And there should be a picture. If we've got a picture of Johnsy's grave with just the dirt piled over and some flowers on it, we should have one picture, surely. West Virginia Hatfields, we got one picture that's not been photoshopped of Devil Ance's grave heaved over and nothing standing behind it. One picture. Challenge. So far to this date, we've not heard nothing. But yet we'll see the videos, and we'll hear people say, oh no, the family put that there years later. The family done that. We'll hear that. That's talk. That's what I'm saying. You can talk it into history. We want proof. One picture of that grave bare without a tombstone or a monument on Devil Ance's grave. How about the 3 bullets taken from Alan Hatfield? Now, Rio Hatfield said years ago, and he was all over every newspaper, and what he wasn't on, the AP, Associated Press, picked up, and they sent it out to all these different newspapers. But the story came from Rio Hatfield. Rio Hatfield says that when his grandfather was the police chief in Maitland, West Virginia, Alan Hatfield, that he was raiding a brothel, and that one of the patrons was angry, and he shot his grandfather in the back 3 times, and his grandfather turned around and shot him and killed him, and it was a McCoy. Well, Alan Hatfield killed 2 men in 46 and 47. One of them was rock nunnery, and 7 months later he shot and killed Hubert Bay McCoy, who was unarmed and had simply punched the police chief. Police chief pulls his gun and shoots him in the back of the head. First he says the gun just went off. Well, it wasn't a semi-automatic, it was a revolver, so people don't buy that story with revolvers. Then he said it was self-defense, that Hubert Bay had taken the other officer's gun. The other officer in court said that never happened. His gun never left his holster. So they found Alan Hatfield, the police chief, guilty, sentenced him to 5 years hard labor. And Rio says that he had 3 bullets still in his bag. And that's what the story in the Huntington Herald-Dispatch says. And we wrote a book years ago on it, sent a copy to Rio, and asked to exhume the body. We didn't believe he's ever been shot by anybody, much less Hubert Bay, because he's unarmed. But let's exhume the body. They shouldn't be nothing after that long. Probably nothing in that casket but some dust and 3 bullets. Be easy to recover. After we did that, he was on a radio talk show with Phoebe Judge, North Carolina radio, and we got the tape on one of our videos. Mm-hmm. And Rio, Phoebe Judge asked him about the rounds. Did he still have the rounds in him? He said, oh, no, they started causing him problems, so he had to have them taken out. I was a teenager, I think is what he says. Well, let's do the math from Rio turning 13 years old to 19. And during those years, then we should have a medical record somewhere. He says he don't have the bullets. One of the most valuable pieces, artifacts, what we would give for 3 bullets, 1 bullet, that was put into a Hatfield by a McCoy, or vice versa. What an artifact to have. They had 3 of them. They don't know where they're at. Nobody kept them. And that's okay. Let's go to the next question. If we can't get the 3 bullets, how about the medical bills? How about medical bills? That would have been up in the years then. Instead of 1947 when he first got shot, if Rio was in his teens, we're talking 60s or 70s there. Let's go back, Rio. Get us some medical bills where your grandfather had those 3 bullets put in his back by an unarmed man. Let's let's see the medical bills where 3 bullets was taken out of his back, put there by an unarmed McCoy. That'd really be something to see. That'd be something to show. 1911 Life magazine with Devil Anse Hatfield in it. Now listen, we've been wrong before. I'm not saying we can't be wrong. On some of these videos, I get a little bit emotional, you might say, because I've heard this crap for so long, sometimes I let it get to me, and I'm finally getting the vent on it, and I got to learn how to vent better. But William Keith Hatfield says that his great-grandfather was in Life magazine in 1911, and says that his grandfather was rich and religious and all that. And we'd like to see the 1911 Life magazine that he talks about, because we'd like to get a copy of it for our museum, for one thing, but we'd mainly just like to see it produced. We could be wrong. There may be one out there. We don't think so. We don't think so. I'd make a pretty good wager that there's not one, if somebody wants to make a bet on it. You might find well, I ain't gonna say you might find, you will find, if you'll go to Life magazine, May the 22nd, 1944, you'll find a Life magazine with Devil Anse Hatfield and Joe Hatfield, and Devil Anse putting the monument up on the hill where they said this would be a good dry place, where Devil Anse said this would be a good dry place for a grave, picking out his spot to be buried. That's 1944. And so, but I'd like to see that Life magazine, Sheila and I would. And that's basically all the questions I've got. Yesterday we made a video on William Keith Hatfield and Ron McCoy. And I was talking about a fella that had donated. He was the first one to make a donation to the museum for one of those little plaques to put on a display case. He's Randall McCoy's great-great-grandson, the same as what Ron McCoy claims to be. His father, this fella's great-great-grandfather, would be Floyd McCoy. I kept saying Floyd Hatfield because we'd done a video during Memorial Day on Hog Stealing Floyd.
Right.
And I guess I had that in my mind. Sometimes my mouth outruns my brain.
That's all right.
But Randall McCoy had Jim McCoy, and then he had a daughter, and then he had Floyd McCoy. And Floyd McCoy is this gentleman's great-great-grandfather that donated for the plaque. In fact, he was the first one to donate for a plaque, and we're doing something special for him just because he's the first one to make that donation. We thought that was special. Not only that,
Thank you.
But he's, to beat it all, he's the great-great-great-grandson of Randall McCoy,
Pretty cool.
who has been a man that has been misjudged, mistreated, mistalked about. They took a hero that went to the Civil War, fought, was prisoner of war, came back, had half his family knocked off. What a sad life he lived. And they made a zero out of him. Even his so-called great-great-great-grandson, Ron McCoy, does this to his own family. Wow. Selkirk shot 3 of his cousins tied up to pawpaw trees. But Ron McCoy, how could you, not even knowing the history, he says that Devil Anse is a great man and an ambassador and he's self-made. How could you do that? After that man killed 3 of Randall McCoy, Devil Anse tied him up to trees, stripped him down naked and shot him. Went to his grave with murder warrant still on him. How can we do that? Sad. Shame on you. That's going to conclude this video. To beat it all, I haven't got one head nod.
You've done very good today.
And
good job.
Sheila and I mean well. I know Sheila does. I just mean to tell the truth and get some things out there that's
what we're trying to do, is get the truth out.
Yeah, and so we hope you enjoyed it. And please, guys, this is not to be derogatory. We are inquisitive people. We have been on this road since I was in the 5th grade and done a book report. And Sheila's been on this road we've been married 38 years. And we've been on this road since she married into the family, along with my mother and so forth. So we'd really like to see these answers. We'd really like to see these documents, these bullets, we really would. It's not nothing bad. We either like to rule it out and say it doesn't exist. They had ample time. And we're going to ask for it again. We'll put this downstairs in 2 or 3 months. We'll go over it again and see if we've got anything back. So it's not going away. Other than that, thanks for joining us. Fred and Sheila McCoy, Hatfield McCoy Museum, fredmccoy.com. Thanks.
Thanks. Please like and subscribe. Bye.